Ready, sir.
Om Gananam Tva Ganapatikum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannotibhisida Sadanam Sri Mahaganadipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, we are on this shloka number 46. That is, Yavan Artha Udapane Sarvatas Samplutodake Tavan Sarveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanataha. The overall meaning I explained, and also the word to word meaning. And we have also started the Bhashyam. The meaning of this shloka, just to recapitulate, that whatever benefit you get in a small limited water source, you get all that and much more in a bigger water source. So the smaller water source is the Karmakanda portion of the Veda, where here the word Veda is it is referring to the Karmakanda portion and not to the Jnanakanda portion. So whatever benefit you get from all these rituals, it is all a small part of the huge benefit which you get through Brahmajnana. The benefit through Brahmajnana is moksha. The benefit through this Karmakanda is only small benefit, in the sense that you may attain this loka or that loka, and then again you have to return, and then again you have to be born, and then in this cycle of samsara, this eternal cycle of samsara, you will be just loitering. So that is the meaning. Yavan arthavudapane sarvataha samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu. And also we read this line, the first line I think we read, Sarvata Samplutodake yo arthaha tavaneva sampadyate tatra antarbhavati. What all benefit you get, it becomes part and parcel of the larger benefit which you are going to get in the Brahmajnana. So that is the picture. The basic idea is, an enlightened man has to go beyond the Vedic rituals. An enlightened man has to go beyond the Vedic rituals. He should not get stuck to the Vedic rituals. Karmakanda is okay. Karmakanda with a phala-visandhi, okay, it gives you result. You want this loka, that particular benefit, so it gives you that benefit. But then it is again, it gives the phala-visandhi means, again there is a question of coming back, again there is a question of transmigration and what not. So here the idea is that an enlightened man has to go beyond the text. This is something which is unique, which our texts say, our own Vedanta, it is unique for Vedanta, that it tells a man, it urges that a man should go beyond the text. So that is the picture here. Text is not paramount. Text is only a sadhana. Text is only a tool for enlightenment. So the next line, Evam Tavan Tavat Parimana Eva Sampadyate Sarveshu Vedeshu Vedokteshu Karmasu Yo Arthaha Yat Karmaphalam Saha Arthaha Brahmanasya Sanyasinaha Paramartha Tattvam Vijanataha Yo Arthaha Yat Vijnanaphalam Sarvatas Samplutodakasthaniyam Tasmin Tavaneva Sampadyate. So in the first line he has given you one simile, that is the simile of a small water body that is like a well, and a larger water body like a reservoir. So he is explaining, Evam, likewise, whatever a man gets in Sarveshu Vedeshu Vedokteshu Karmasu. So in all Sarveshu Vedeshu means in all the Vedas, Vedokteshu Karmasu, in all the karmas, in all the rituals. Karma means here a ritual. Karmas which are enumerated, listed in those Vedas, Vedokteshu Karmasu, Yaha Arthaha Yat Karma Phalam. Yaha Arthaha. Artha is Phalam. Artha is nothing but Phalam. Phalam is a result. Yat Karma Phalam. Saha Arthaha Brahmanasya Sanyasinaha. That all that benefit is going to be obtained by a Brahmana. What is a Brahmana here? the meaning of Brahmana, the Mukhyartha of Brahmana, the word Brahmana is sannyasi. Brahmana does not mean a caste Brahmana. Brahmana in Vedanta, it refers to an enlightened person, a jnani, a sannyasi. In fact, one commentator, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, I mentioned his name, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, he has written very elaborate commentary on Gita. He has actually quoted one line here, one shloka here. He says, Janmana jayate shudraha, karmana jayate dvijaha, Vedapathena viprasyat, Brahmajnanena brahmanaha. So what are the stages? So as soon as a man is born, he is born as a normal, as a being only. Like he is equal to all others. He is just equal to all others. Karmana jayate dvijaha. By this so-called purification, by this process of Upanayana and whatnot, this is a purifying process. Purifying in the sense, it is a sort of a process where he is given some additional inputs, some additional knowledge about what is Atma Jnana and all that. He is given that Gayatri mantra, he is told what is an Upasana, how he has to do Upasana and all that. So that is why the importance of Gayatri mantra is there. And Gayatri mantra is there for all castes. That is what we have to see. So Karmana jayate dvijaha. So by karma, by this ritual, he becomes a dvija. And then Veda Pathena Viprasyat, there is a word called Vipra. That word Vipra means somebody who is well versed in Vedas. Veda Pathena Vipraha Syat. Brahmajnanena Brahmanaha. A Brahmana means only a person who is having a Brahmajnana, the knowledge of the Supreme. Only when you have the knowledge of the Supreme, and then such a man who is a sannyasi, he is only called a Brahmana. So that is the picture here. So Brahmana, Shankaracharya also is writing the same. Brahmanasya sannyasinah paramartha tattvam vijanataha. For somebody who very well knows vijanataha. This vi itself is a prefix. Vi plus janataha. Visheshena janataha. Visheshena paramartha tattvam janati. So he is a person who knows paramartha tattvam, the knowledge of that Supreme. The tattvam is the tattvam. Tasya bhavaha tattvam. Tattvam, we heard this word quite often earlier. Tattva is the thisness, the substance, the essence of that Paramartha, the essence of that Supreme. It is well known by this gentleman, this Brahmana. So for such a man, Brahmanasya sannyasinaha paramartha tattvam vijanataha yaha arthaha yat vijnana phalam. What is this artha here? That vijnana phalam. Vijnana phalam means the fruit of that knowledge. There is a small difference between jnana and vijnana also. Jnana is knowledge. Vijnana is realizing, assimilating that knowledge, realizing that knowledge. You may have a theoretical knowledge of Brahman, but one may not be a realized person. One might not have assimilated it in him. That knowledge has not been properly assimilated. So vijnana is somebody who has experienced it. Brahmajnana, I may say at a theoretical level, but I may not have any experience. So Vijnana Phalam is somebody who has experienced that Brahmajnana. So that is the picture. Yat Vijnana Phalam, and that is comparable to Sarvata Samplutodaka Sthaniyam. We saw that small water body, Udapana. Udapana versus Sarvata Samplutodaka. That Udapana Sthaniyam is Veda. Udapana Sthaniyam means which is at the level of that Udapana, which is at the level of that well. Sarvata Samplutodaka Sthaniyam, that is at the level. Sthana, Sthana is the place. Sarvata Samplutodaka Sthaniyam means that is at the level of, or at the plane, or in the plane, let us say, or in the plane of Sarvata Samplutodaka is Brahmajnana. Brahmajnana is something which is supreme when compared to this small little benefit which you get through the karma. That is the picture. Sarvata Samplutodaka Sthaniyam tasmin tavaneva sampadyate tatraiva antarbhavati. So it becomes a part and parcel of that Brahmajnana. So is it okay?
Yes.
Tavan tavat parimanaha eva sampadyate sarveshu vedeshu vedokteshu karmasu yo arthaha. So this line is very clear, I think. So he is giving one quotation from Chandogya Upanishad. Let us read. Yatha krutaya vijitadhareyaha vijitayaadhareyaha. It is not there?
No.
Okay, maybe. What is there? Sarvam tadabhisameti.
Tatraiva antarbhavati ityarthaha. Sarvam tat abhisameti.
Okay, here one extra line has been given. That entire quotation has been given here. Yatha krutaya vijitaya dhareyaha santim sanyanti evam enam sarvam tad abhisameti yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti. In your book, sarvam tad abhisameti. Okay, let us read from that. Sarvam tad abhisameti.
Sarvam tad abhisameti.
Yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti.
Yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti.
Yas tad veda yat saveda.
Yas tad veda yat saveda.
Iti shrutehe.
Iti shrutehe.
So iti shrutehe. Whenever it says iti shrutehe, shruti is Veda. So obviously he is quoting some Vedic text. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So this shruti is the Chandogya shruti. Chandogya. That quotation, which adhyaya it must be there in your book. What is that adhyaya?
4th chapter 1.4.
4-1-4. Okay, it is not mentioned here. Okay, this is there is a small episode in that place, in the Chandogya 4th adhyaya, where there is a king who is a very renowned king. His fame is known all over. And then, say once, that king, of course, he has a palace and whatnot. 2 swans, they were flying over his house. 2 swans were flying over above his house. So one swan tells the other. Swans in our literature, they are supposed to be quite knowledgeable, quite intelligent. They move from place to place, and then they know who is what, and then they something like the people who know all around, something like today's journalists. So one swan tells the other, oh, this particular king, whose name of course is not given in that episode, he is called Jnana Shruti. Jnana Shruti is somebody who is a grandson of that Jnana Shruti. So who is that gentleman, who is the king, his name of course is mentioned as Jnana Shruti. So he is so well known, so famous, and his fame is so bright. Don't ever attempt to talk ill about this man. He is so famous. Don't ever attempt to talk ill about this man. He is so famous. Don't ever touch his fame. So that is what one swan tells another swan. So the other swan says, "Arey, what do you know? There is one gentleman called Raikwa. There is a great philosopher. It is only when this Jnana Shruti knows what he knows, then only you should be afraid of this man. If this Jnana Shruti knows what that man knows is Brahmajnana. He is referring to that only. If Jnana Shruti knows what that man knows, then only you should talk high of this man. There is no need to talk high of this man." So these 2 swans, they just overfly the house or palace of that king, and then they do this talk. So this king, who is somewhere, probably he was there somewhere on the terrace or something like that, he heard that talk, and then he wanted to know who is this Raikwa. This Jnana Shruti, he wants to know who is this Raikwa. Raikwa is a philosopher. Basically, he is a philosopher who has absolutely no possessions. He stays underneath a bullock cart. In olden days, if you have seen, even in villages, when they go by bullock carts to long distances, and then they just camp somewhere, they just sleep under the bullock carts. They have nowhere else to sleep. They just sleep they just go in a bullock cart, and then the bullock cart is parked in some place in the night, and then these people, they just stay under the bullock cart basically to avoid any rain or anything like that. So bullock cart itself becomes a small place of dwelling. So like that, this Raikwa is a person, a philosopher who has absolutely nothing, and then he stays under a bullock cart. So the king sends his messengers to know where exactly is this Raikwa. So tells his messengers, "Oh, okay, you please find this Raikwa wherever he is." So they just go search everywhere and they find this Raikwa. Then king goes to him, and then he wants to learn this Brahmajnana from him. So that is a small story there, where he first offers some money. So that Raikwa refuses. "Arey, you are behaving like a businessman. You are behaving in this stupid fashion. So you are not eligible for Brahmajnana." Then again that Raikwa comes, and then he very humbly approaches him. "In fact, I want to make you my son-in-law. I will give you my daughter," and whatnot. So okay, then realizing his Shraddha, finding that this king is a fellow who is having some Shraddha, he wants to teach this Brahmajnana, and then he teaches. So that is the context here. And then this is the dialogue of the swan. This line which is quoted here is the dialogue. It is the dialogue of that swan. Which when the swan says, Yatha krutaya vijitayaadhareyaha samyanti evam yenam sarvam tadabhisameti yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti yas tadveda yat saveda. The meaning of this is like this. It is referring to a game of dice. You know the game of dice. 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers will be there, and then you have to throw those the dice, and then the figures will be there. Sometimes the dice you may have 6 also there. But in this particular dice which he is referring, the largest number is only 4. That 4 number is called Kruta. You know that we have got 4 yugas: Kruta Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga. And the Puranas say that in Kruta Yuga, the Dharma Devata, the god or goddess of Dharma, which is identified as a cow. Why we worship cow is that cow is, it was something like an embodiment of Dharma. That is what we mean. Dharma actually we visualize in the form of a bull or a cow. It is otherwise called a go. It can either be a cow or a bull. So that cow, it walks on all 4 feet in Kruta Yuga, or at least it walked, not walks. Treta Yuga, 1/4 is destroyed, and then Dharma is there on 3 feet. Dwapara Yuga, the Dharma Devata walks on 2. And Kruta Yuga, Kali Yuga is a place where a lot of erosion of Dharma has taken place. A lot of erosion of Dharma has taken place, and Dharma Devata is only on 1 pada. That is, the 3 padas have gone. So 1/4 of Dharma only is remaining now. So that is one Puranic story. So that Puranic story is translated in the form of a game of dice. So, in fact, if you observe, say the games which used to be played in olden days, the games are also, they are associated with some philosophy only. There is what is called snakes and ladders. That snakes and ladders, there is a philosophy behind it. Snakes and ladders, you know, it is called Paramapada Sopana. Paramapada Sopana, the man goes right up to that place, then he becomes a victim for that lust or greed or something like that, which is something like a snake opening its mouth. It is nothing but lust or greed. It comes and then comes back to the starting point. So it is like that. So many of our the games of olden days, they actually contain some of this philosophical content. So like this here also, this Kruta is something which symbolizes 4. It represents 4. Krutaya Vijita Adhareyaha. Vijita Adhareyaha. Adhareyaha means something which is less than that. That is Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga and Kali Yuga. So 3, 4, 3, 2, 1 and all that. So a fellow who gets that number 4, he actually, his game is superior to the other people. So that is the other people who get 1, 2 and 3. So the 1, 2 and 3, they become part and parcel of this 4 only. 1, 2 and 3, they become part and parcel of this 4. Likewise, whatever you know in this process of karma and whatnot, it becomes a part and parcel of this Brahma Jnana. So whatever, if you know something, whatever you know becomes part and parcel of what Raikwa knows. Raikwa is that philosopher who was staying under that bullock cart. So the line again I will read. Yatha Krutaya Vijitaya Dhareyaha Samyanti. Samyanti means Antarbhavanti. They become part and parcel. Samyanti. Evam Yenam Sarvam Tadabhisameti Yatkincha Prajas Sadhu Kurvanti. That is, a Brahmajnani gets all the phalam of whatever good deeds that are done by ordinary people. A Brahmajnani, it is not as though you do some karma phala and then I get that phalam. Not like that. Karma phala, whatever little bit you do, this man already has. This Brahmajnani already has all the phala which a normal ritualist gets. A normal ritualist gets some phala, there is no doubt. But a Brahmajnani has got all that phala. Just like in a game of dice, the man who gets this Krutam, he is greater than the fellow who gets this 1, 2 and 3. Similarly, whatever phalam you have in by way of karma, all that becomes part and parcel of this Brahmajnana. Then, Sarvam tad abhisameti. Abhisameti means it gets part and parcel of it. Abhisameti, it becomes part of it. Yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti. Whatever good is done by other people, whatever good is done by all the people, it gets subsumed in this Brahmajnana. in this whatever say knowledge which this Brahmagyani has. Tatraiva prajas sadhu kurvanti yatkincha prajas sadhu kurvanti yaha tadveda yat saveda. Yes, tadveda yat saveda means whatever, if you know what that man knows, if you know what that man knows, then you will also be equal. But you do not know what that man knows. That person, that particular gentleman, that Raikwa is a man who is an expert in Brahmagyana. So let us see whether there is any commentary. Anandagiri writes, Sarvam karmaphalam jnanaphale antarbhavati ityatra pramanamaha. Sarvam karmaphalam, whatever karmaphalam is there, jnanaphale antarbhavati. It becomes part of that jnanaphalam. So that is what he writes. Yatkimapi prajas sadhu kurvanti tatsarvam purushaha abhisameti prapnoti. Yah purushaha tadveda vijanati yadvastu saraikvo veda. Okay, so that is what Anandagiri is explaining. So whatever that Raikva knows, if the king also knows, then okay, you treat him as equal. That king certainly does not know what Raikva knows. So that is what is the dialogue of the swan. And then after listening to this dialogue, then this king sends his messengers and goes to that man and whatnot. That's what as I told you. Okay, next line. Sarvam karma akhilam iti cha vakshyati. Vakshyati means he is going to tell. Vakshyati. That is in future tense. He is going to tell. What? Sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. That is somewhere in the 5th adhyaya. Where is it? Sarvam karma. 4th adhyaya. 33. 4-33. Sarvam karma akhilam. In this text, unfortunately, they have not given the references. Sarvam karma akhilam partha jnane parisamapyate. That is the full line of that shloka. So that shloka says, all karma jnane parisamapyate. It becomes part and parcel of that Brahmagyana. Whatever benefit you get in this, it becomes part and parcel. It is only a small part of this Brahmagyana. So that is it. Iti cha vakshyati. Tasmat prak jnana nishtadhikara praptehe karmani adhikrutena kupa tadakadyarthasthaniyamapi karma kartavyam. Okay, therefore, tasmat means therefore, prak jnana nishtadhikara praptehe. Prak means before. Before what? Jnana nishtadhikara praptehe. Before you get eligible, before you become eligible. Is it okay?
Yeah.
What is the problem? You are looking something. Okay. Before you become eligible to attain that jnana nishtha. How is that attained? By Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Not only that, by Sadhana Chatushtaya. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana is the intellectual level. Sadhana Chatushtaya is disciplining the mind. What you know is different and how you are disciplined is different. Sadhana Chatushtaya is something which disciplines the Antahkarana. Shravana Manana Nididhyasa, this is something which gives the intellectual inputs. These two put together make a man eligible for this Jnana Nishtha. So that is the meaning. Tasmat prak Jnana Nishtadhikara praptehe. Before one becomes eligible for this Jnana Nishtha, then karmani adhikrutena kupatadakadyarthasthaniyamapi karma kartavyam. For one, karmani adhikrutena, by one who is entitled to do a karma, by one on whom karma is enjoined. This adhikruta means two things. Adhikara means not only right but also duty. Usually, sometimes I find the English translations as right only. Karmanyeva adhikaraha, you have got a right. Not only right, it refers to the word adhikara, it also means duty. It is something which is enjoined. Karmani adhikrutena, by one who is on whom this karma is enjoined on him. Kupatadakadyarthasthaniyamapi karma kartavyam. This karma may be comparable to a small water body when compared to a huge reservoir. It is just kupatadakadisthaniyam means it is comparable to kupa or a tadaka. It is comparable to a small well or a small pond. But even then, this thing has to be followed before you become eligible for that Jnana Nishtha. Before a person becomes eligible for Jnana Nishtha, karma has to be followed. So that is what is the say the basic meaning of say message of the Gita. Okay, Jnani Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye. Among thousands and thousands of people, there is one person who may be trying for this Brahmagyana. All cannot become Brahmagyanis. Then what is the course left for ordinary people? All the people, that is what is Karma Yoga, which is now being described. The course that is left for other people is that they have to do karmas, whatever duties are there, enjoined on them. It may be Vedic rituals, it may be some other rituals, it may be some other code of conduct with reference to the people in society. So all this becomes Dharma. Dharma is, ritual is only one part of the Dharma. There are other things like Dana, Daya, Ahimsa, various other things where you interact with the people. All that becomes part of the Dharma. All these things are duties which he has to perform as a member of the society. So that he should not forsake. So that is the meaning here. Next, Bhupatadakadisthaniyamapi karma kartavyam. Next, Karmani iti.
Karmani iti.
Tavacha. Okay, now we have to read this shloka. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. Okay, here Lord Krishna is anticipating a particular reaction from Arjuna. So right now, all this while, Krishna was referring to the supremacy of Jnana, Yavanartha Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhava, then all these things he was saying. Then he was saying, Yavanartha Vadapane Sarvata Samplutodake, this Brahmagyana is supreme and whatever you do, whatever the Vedas tell about this karma kanda is all inferior. All these things he was telling. Then a question, Arjuna may as well say, okay, why don't you teach me Brahmagyana only? I will as well renounce. That is what I also wanted to do in the beginning itself. In the beginning itself, he wanted to renounce and go. So that is what he was saying. But then Krishna says, you are not yet mature, my dear man. You are not yet mature for this sannyasa. Because this is an important thing. People just want to take up, to take sannyasa ashrama. Sannyasa ashrama is not just giving up this robe and then wearing some other saffron thing. Sannyasa ashrama implies a lot of mental discipline. A sannyasi, he cannot be an angry fellow fighting. A sannyasi is a person who has such that equanimity of mind. A person, he always in Jnana Nishtha, he is always in Brahma Nishtha. So he sees Brahman everywhere. So that is the highest stage of sannyasa. Sannyasi may be doing certain things in society for loka sangraha, as we are going to see in the future say shlokas. A sannyasa may be teaching some Upanishad, or he may be teaching something, or he may be moving around then preaching something. A sannyasi may be doing it in the interest of social order, so loka sangraha, in the interest of welfare of the society. But he himself is above all this raga, dvesha and whatnot. This hate, love, all these things, he is above that. So Arjuna, he is not yet qualified. Arjuna is not so mentally disciplined. So Krishna is anticipating a possible question from Arjuna that, okay, you tell me the Jnana it is directly, because Jnana is something which is Sakshad Upakarakam. Karma is Arad Upakarakam, that is Paramparaya Upakarakam. We learnt in some earlier shlokas that Jnanam is something which is Sakshad Upakarakam, which directly leads you to liberation or moksha. Then karma, the Nishkama karma, not the routine karma with phalabhisanti. Nishkama karma, which is done as a matter of duty, as a matter of order from the Lord. So that is something which disconnects you from the karma phala. And once that karma phala is disconnected, gradually your chitta shuddhi takes place, and then paramparaya you become eligible for jnana. So Arjuna may ask that question. So that is why Krishna is saying, you are not yet eligible. You are not yet eligible for Brahmagyana. You are eligible for karma. Karmanyeva adhikaraha. Adhikaraha means your right and also duty. Your right, you are enjoined to do karma. I will tell the broad meaning of the shloka. This is one shloka which is quite often quoted. It is one of the highly quoted shlokas, particularly in business circles. I will tell you also why that is quoted in business circles as we go through the text. Because the general impression is the Indian philosophy or the Hindu philosophy, it is all otherworldly. It does not enable a person to do his job. It kills all this sense of entrepreneurship and then a sense of achievement and whatnot. And then all these types of things are there. In fact, in an earlier class, I was also referring to one sociologist called Max Weber. You remember?
Yeah.
I referred to one sociologist called Max Weber, who actually studied Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and like that. And it is unfortunate that we don't study our own books, leave alone their books. But there are hundreds of say Westerners who are studying our books. Anyway, so that gentleman, he writes that these Hindu religions, this Hindu means Indian religions like Buddhism and say Hinduism, they are not conducive for a corporate type of environment. They are not conducive for business ethic. So that is what it is his impression. But unfortunately, some of our people also they think like that, because we do not know what Krishna has said. We do not know what even Shankaracharya is saying. For Shankaracharya, sannyasa is supreme. But even that man, he has to say that all people cannot become sannyasis. He has to accept that the fact in society, all people cannot become sannyasis. So for all others, Nishkama karma is the formula. Nishkama karma does not mean you don't get the result. Say you disconnect yourself from the fruit of that karma. It does not mean that you you do not do your job. You do your job maybe more efficiently than a fellow who is desirous of the fruit of the action. You do your karma because you are doing it with dispassion. So you will do it with all equanimity. You will do it with all enthusiasm, because you are doing it as a duty. You are doing it as an order from the Lord. You are doing it as part of your Dharma. So that is why you will do it with more vigor and efficiency than a fellow who is doing it with greed and whatnot. A fellow who is doing with greed, he is like a thief. He will commit some mistake somewhere. He will be greedy. He will try to cheat others. So this man, he is not like that. Ma grudha kasya sridhanam. That is what we saw in, what is this? Ishavasya also. Ishavasya, first line we also read. Ma grudha kasya sridhanam. Grudha is greed. So you have to get over this greed and whatnot. So that is what our ethic says. Our business ethic says, it may be an individual greed or a corporate greed. Now we talk about this corporate greed and this cutthroat corporate competitiveness and whatnot. So we say that all that corporate greed and competitiveness and cutthroat behavior should be avoided. You do it as a matter of duty with a sense of dharma. Steeped in dharma, you do your job. So that is what this shloka says. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You are enjoying, what is enjoined on you is karma. You have a duty and a right to perform. In fact, there is another level also in which we can see the meaning. Human being, as we saw, human life rather, that is a karma bhumi. This is the place where you have to do a karma. All other places like Swargaloka, this loka, that loka, they are all places where you get the result of the karma. Human being is a human level. This is the plane, karma bhumi, it is called the plane of karma, the plane of action, where you choose. You have got a choice. You have got a deliberate, you have got, what the Western philosophy calls free will. You have got a choice. You have got all that, capacity to choose what is good, what is bad and what not, and how to progress. So this is karmanyeva adhikara. And then ma phaleshu kadachana. It is not you have no adhikara. You have no say in that karma, or you should not have a say. Actually, ma phaleshu means you should not have a say. Why? He is telling in the next line, ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. Do not become the cause of the karma phala. Do not become the cause of karma phala. What does it mean? If you become a cause for karma phala, what will happen? If you are the cause of karma phala, when are you the cause of karma phala, first of all? If you want karma phala, then you become cause for that karma phala. If you do not want karma phala, then you are not the cause of that karma phala. What Krishna says is, you do not be the cause for that karma phala. That means you do nishkama karma. You do not ask for the fruit of the karma. Mate, then one may say, okay, if I do not want the fruit of that action, why should I do it at all? Why should I do it at all? All that trouble, why should I undertake? Krishna, that is why he says, Mate sangostva karmani. Do not indulge in escapism. Do not become an escapist. Mate sangaha astu akarmani. In inaction. Don't get into inaction. You have to perform your action. You have to do it in a very proper way. In fact, some subsequent shlokas he is more strongly saying in the third adhyaya. Okay, let us see the words. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. Karmani eva adhikaraha te. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Karmani is the saptami vibhakti for the word karma. Karmani means in karma, in action. Te adhikaraha. Karmani eva te adhikaraha. Your right or your duty is in karma, in action, in doing action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Kadachana means not at any time. Kadachana, never. In phaleshu. Phaleshu is again saptami vibhakti of phalam. Not in the fruit. Even the word phalam is very interesting. The word phalam, the etymological meaning of phalam is phalgutaya liyate iti phalam. In fact, that Bellamkonda Ramarai Kavi, he notes it. He has written that, Phalgutaya liyate iti phalam. Phalgu means pettiness, little. Phalgutaya liyate. Whatever karma phala is something which is trivial. The phalam actually, the meaning of, literal meaning of, the etymological meaning of the word phalam is something which is trivial. Phalgutaya liyate. Because it is trivial, it disappears in no time. A karma phala is something which disappears in no time or which gets exhausted in no time because of its trivial nature. So that is the etymological meaning of that word phalam. So here, ma phaleshu kadachana, ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu, ma te sangostva karmani. Ma te sangaha astu. You see the division of the words. Ma te sangaha astu akarmani. First word is karmani. Last word is akarmani. Karmani adhikaraha. Akarmani means inaction. In the inaction, no ma te sangaha astu. Te sangaha karma akarmani ma astu. Sangha means attachment. Don't get attached to akarma. Don't get attached to inaction. So that is the meaning. Let us see what Shankaracharya writes. Tavacha karmanyeva adhikaraha na jnana nishtayam te tava तत्र च कर्म कुर्वतः मा फलेषु अधिकारः अस्तु कर्मफल तृष्णा मा भूत् कदाचन. Okay, so this line tavacha means in your case. So he has explained this yavan artha udapane, that water source, and then the comparative merits and demerits of Veda versus Brahmagyana. He explained. But in your case, because he is switching over the word tavacha, in your case, what is it? Karmani eva adhikaraha. Your case, karmani, in the karma, eva adhikaraha. Your right or duty is for karma only. Na jnana nishtayam. It is not in jnana nishtha. The word nishtha also I explained to you. Nishtha is nishtayena avasthanam. Jnana nishtayam te tava, for you, tatra cha karma kurvataha. While you are doing that karma kurvataha is the present continuous for somebody who is doing that karma. Ma phaleshu adhikaraha astu. Ma phaleshu adhikaraha astu. Let there not be any craving. Let there not be any desire for the phala, for that fruit of that action. Karma phala trushna, ma te phaleshu adhikaraha. For that word adhikara, Shankaracharya is writing karma phala trushna ma bhut. Let there be no attachment or craving for karma phala. Karma phala trushna. Trushna is again means what? Trushna is desire. Karma phala trushna. Let there not be any desire for that karma phala. Kadachana, never. Then next line. Kasyam chid avasthayam avasthayam ityarthaha. At any point of time, kasyam chid avasthayam, at any point of time, let there not be any attachment for karma phala. What is the meaning of kadachana? Kadachana, kasyanchid avasthayam. The meaning of kadachana is kasyanchid avasthayam. That is not at any point of time. What does it mean? Anandagiri is writing. कर्मानुष्ठानात् प्राक् ऊर्ध्वं तत्काले च इति कदाचन इति विवक्षितम् इत्याह. Okay, he says at any point of time means either before the commencement of an action or during the course of an action or after the karma is completed. Suppose you do some Chandi Yaga or some such Yaga or Maharudram or something like that. Before the commencement of the ritual, you have a sankalpa. Before any ritual, there is a sankalpa. I want this, I want that, for this benefit I am doing this. Then during that karma also you may develop some sankalpa. And then after the completion of the ritual also you may have some sankalpa. Okay, I have done that, let me get this benefit. So he says at any point of time, either before or during or after, may you not have any karma phala asanga. May you not have any desire for the karma phala. So that is the picture. Kasyanchid avasthayam ityartha. Okay, next line. Yada karma phale trishna te syat tada कर्म फल प्राप्तेः हेतुः स्याः. ओके, यदा कर्म फले तृष्णा ते स्यात्, when you have desire for this, when you have this trishna or desire for karma phala, yada, when karma phale, in karma phala, te, for you, trishna syat, if you have that desire, tada, then at that point of time, karma phala praptehe hetuhu syaha. Tvam hetuhu syaha means you are becoming what? Karma phala praptehe hetuhu. You are becoming the cause for that karma phala prapti. For attaining, prapti is attaining, for attaining the karma phala. You are becoming the cause. Don't be like that. Evam ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. Evam in this manner, ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. Ma bhuhu. Ma bhuhu is, it is in Sanskrit grammar it is called lung. It is something like, actually lung is used as a past tense. Ma abhuhu. That abhuhu, when this ma, this prefix ma comes, that a disappears, it becomes ma bhuhu. Instead of saying ma abhuhu, that a disappears and then it becomes ma bhuhu. Ma bhuhu means you have never been. Actually, literally speaking it means you have not been, or you were not karma phala hetu. But say Sanskrit idiomatically, it is meant, it says let you not be, or may you not be karma phala hetu. May you not be the cause for the fruit of that action. Ma karma phala hetu bhuhu. It is in Sanskrit grammar, there are 10 lakaras you must be knowing. Lat, vartamane, all these things. You have some idea? This lung is used in past tense. Ma bhuhu means you have not been. In fact, you did not become. So that is what it means. You did not become a cause means, the idiomatically it says, let you not become, or may you not be the cause for the karma phala. Evam ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. Yada hi karma phala tushna prayuktaha कर्मणि प्रवर्तते तदा कर्मफलस्यैव जन्मनः हेतुः भवेत्. So he is also explaining what is karma phala. Karma phalasya janmanah hetuh bhavet. Karma phala is janma. Earlier shloka also we read janma karma phala pradam. Janma is the karma phala. Janma karma phala pradam kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya gatim prati, we read in one shloka. Janma karma phala means janma is the karma phala. So here he is explaining karma phalasya janmanah hetuh bhavet. You are going to become the cause for a rebirth. Why? Yada hi karma phala tushna prayuktah karmani pravartate. When you get motivated, karma phala tushna prayuktah. Prayuktah means one who is motivated by. Prayukta is one who is motivated by karma phala tushna. The one who is motivated by the desire for karma phala. When you become that, then tada, at that point of time, karma phalasyaiva hetuhu bhavet. Karma phalasya hetuhu saha bhavet. That is you become the cause for karma phala. What is that karma phala? That is janma. Karma phalasyaiva janmanah hetuhu bhavet. Next line. Yadi karma phalam neshyate
कर्मफलं नेष्यते
किं कर्मणा दुःखरूपेण इति
किं कर्मणा दुःखरूपेण इति
मा ते तव
मा ते तव
सङ्गः
सङ्गः
अस्तु
अस्तु
अकर्मणि
अकर्मणि
अकरणे प्रीतिः मा भूत्.
अकरणे प्रीतिः मा भूत्.
So this is the last pada, that is mate sangostva karmani, that is let you not get into escapism, let you not become an escapist. Yadi karma phalam neshyate, okay, somebody may say, if I don't want, if you are asking me not to aspire for this fruit of action, if you are directing me or if you are advising me not to have this karma phala, not to desire for karma phala, then why should I do it also? Yadi karma phalam neshyate, na ishyate means when it is not desired. Na ishyate means not desired. When karma phalam is not desired, kim karmana dukkha rupena, why should I take all the trouble? Dukkha rupena karmana, that is in Tritiya Vibhakti, kim karmana dukkha rupena. Why should I undertake all this dukkha rupa karma? Karma is dukkha rupa. You have to procure lot many things, you have to invest some money, you have to go to a shop and then you have to get all the sambharas, you have to mobilize some more money. Recently when there was some yaga which was Atirudra yaga or something which was conducted in Bhadrachalam by a huge group of Purohits who migrated from, who came from Kerala. So especially some big batch of Brahmins was mobilized from Kerala. And then at that point of time, their target was to mobilize about 4 crore rupees. So they were just going all around, asking every businessman, asking everybody for donation. So like that, the karma is something which is associated with a lot of dukkha. You have to go request so many people. In fact, when you do a yajna, you are supposed to mobilize money by donations. That is also there, because basically giving money for yajna is something which is part of a dharma for anybody. So for a good cause, you give money. So, but then for the fellow who is undertaking it, it is a question of dukkha. He has to go mobilize so many people, he has to make out a list of all the donors first of all, and then approach all the donors. So all this karma is dukkha rupa. So kim karmana dukkha rupena. So somebody may say, okay, why should I do all this thing? Or you go to an office, you are working for something, you don't want say any fruit of that action. Why should I do work? So don't become like that. Anyway, you are in a corporate say field, that we are not straight away, we should not apply to the corporate field, because corporate field anyway his salary is assured, salary is always there. But there, doing one's job in an ethical manner, doing one's job in accordance with dharma is what we have to learn from this. Ma te tava sangaha, sangha means attachment, astu akarmani, akarma is inaction, that is escapism. Ma te sangaha astu akarmani, akarane pritihi ma bhoot, let there not be any priti. Priti means interest or love. Okay, don't become don't say, okay, let me be happy in this manner, I will not do any job. So that is also karma only. If you abandon karma also, that is karma. Inaction also is action only. Inaction is one type of action, isn't it? In fact, earlier we saw inaction also is one type of action. Unless you become a jnani and then give up actions, when you say, I do not do this, that feeling of I is there, kartrutva bhavana is there. So long as you feel there is a kartrutva bhavana in you, you are doing an action. That is an act of omission. Only when the kartrutva bhavana goes, when this man becomes a jnana-nishta or a brahma-nishta, then there is no kartrutva bhavana. At that point of time, even if he does something, there is no kartrutva bhavana, there is no feeling of I. So, but here, if you just say, no, I don't want to do anything, then still the feeling of I is very much there. So that is the point which we have to note here. So karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So this is this shloka where we have to note down some points. That is, one is, it is a shloka which can be misunderstood, and it should not be misunderstood. Krishna is not saying, okay, let us not do any action or something like that. Krishna is very much saying you have to do your job in accordance with dharma. So that is one point which you have to realize. And human life is the karma bhumi, or the plane of action, where you have got a choice, where you have got the free will to choose any type of work you want to do. Then Arjuna is a pretext only here. Arjuna, number one, of course, it is also true that Arjuna is not a Jnanadhikari. His mind is not yet mature. But Arjunam nimitti krutya, that is what we also read earlier. Arjuna is a pretext for giving the message to all of us. So we are all in the state of Arjuna only. That is, we are also, our minds are not disciplined. We are as, we may be knowledgeable people, but then our minds are as indisciplined as Arjuna's mind. Arjuna's mind also is having all this raga, dvesha, kama, krodha and whatnot. Our minds are also full of raga, dvesha and whatnot. So, for all of us, all those people who cannot become sannyasis, the message is they have to do their job in accordance with Dharma. So, a man of action also should get moksha. Then how should he get moksha? Slowly by disciplining his mind by Nishkama karma. So, this is what we have to, these points which we have to know in this shloka, because this shloka is almost like a formula for Nishkama karma. You do your job, but at the same time discipline your mind. You do your job, you will also get karma phala, but you do it with dispassion, thereby purifying your mind. So that is the overall import of this shloka. You avoid greed, then whether it is individual greed or corporate greed, as I was saying, without that greed and greed on karma phala, you do your job. Next shloka. Yadi karma phala prayuktena na kartavyam karma tarhi katham tarhi kartavyam ityuchyate yogastha iti. So this is the avatarika. He says, Yadi karma phala prayuktena na kartavyam karma katham tarhi kartavyam. So you are saying that you should not do karma with phalabhisandhi. You should not do karma motivated by the karma phala, motivated by the result. You should not be motivated by the result. Then in what manner should karma be done? So then the next shloka, let us read. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyos samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So he says, Yogastha kuru karmani. Let us see the broad meaning of this shloka. Yogastha kuru karmani. Arjuna's doubt is, you are saying you do not aspire or you do not do a karma motivated by karma phala. Karma phalayena prayuktaha. Karma phala prayuktaha means one who is motivated, one who is driven by interest in karma phala. So if you say that I should not be driven by the motive for karma, driven by the result of the karma, then in what manner should I do karma? So for that he says, Yogastha kuru karmani. Tvam yogastha san. By being yogastha, that is by being one who is established in this buddhi yoga. One who is established in yoga here means karma yoga. Karma yoga and not jnana yoga. By being established in karma yoga, you do karma. Yogastha san tvam karmani kuru. Karmani is plural. Karma, karmani, karmani. Karmani is plural. That is actions. Here it can be ritual or even any action. Any action means our own normal duty in life. Our own normal, dharma, duty in life. Yogastha san kuru karmani. He dhananjaya sangam tyaktva. One more adjective is there. Yogastha san sangam tyaktva karmani kuru. Sangam tyaktva means by abandoning attachment. Sangha is attachment, interest. Tyaktva, having abandoned, having rejected that sangha, that attachment, you do karma. Siddhya siddhyos samo bhutva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Siddhya siddhyoha samo bhutva. Another condition is you also become neutral to either success or failure. Samaha. Samaha means neutral, totally equanimity of mind. That equanimity of mind you have for siddhi and asiddhi, whether you get a positive result or a negative result. For success or failure, you be equal in that sameness. Sama is sameness. Samaha bhutva, that is samatvam yoga uchyate, that equanimity or sameness. So that is the samatvam means being equal to everything, being neutral, being neutral either to good or bad, being neutral either to success or failure. So that is meaning of samatva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The words in this shloka are very simple. Yogasthaha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhyoho siddhya siddhyoho. That is saptami dvivachanam. Siddhi plus asiddhi siddhya siddhi. That is the saptami for that is siddhya siddhyoho. That is in success and failure. Siddhya siddhyoho, saptami vibhakti means in success and failure. Samaha bhutva, you become neutral to either of them. Samatvam yoga uchyate, because samatvam is called yoga. The equanimity of mind is called karma yoga. That is what the shloka means. Let us see the commentary. Yogasthaha san kuru karmani kevalam ishwarartham tatrapi ishvaro me tushyatu iti sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Okay. Yogasthaha san kuru karmani. You do karma. All these karmas you do. How? Yogasthaha san. By being established in karma yoga. Karma yoga is what is the subject matter here. That is Nishkama karma. Karma yoga means Nishkama karma plus yoga anusthana. We saw 2 points. There are 2 components in karma anusthana. This karma yoga. That is karma anusthana plus yoga anusthana. Karma anusthana without phalavisandhi. Then simultaneously disciplining your mind by this, what is this? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, ashtanga yoga, we read in an earlier shloka. These 2 things have to be combined. Simple karma anusthana is not enough. The discipline, mental discipline also is very much required. That getting over all our anger, all our frustrations, all our emotions and all these things, that has to be simultaneously pursued. So yogasthaha san kuru karmani. In that manner, in that state of mind, you do your karma. Then kevalam ishwarartham, as an order from the Lord, as a sort of direction, as something which you are doing in the larger scheme of things, in a larger scheme of things, in the greater scheme of God. So as something which is enjoined on you by God, a sort of divine order. So that is what it means. Tatrapi ishvaraha me tushyatu iti sangam tyaktva. Then somebody may feel, okay, I am doing it as Ishvara Radhana, then Lord will be very happy and Lord will take me to heaven, Lord will give me this result, that result. So even that sangam should not be there. So if you are doing it as an order from the Lord, you should also not feel that Ishvara will be very happy. So the Ishvara is again not Lord Shiva. Ishvara should not mean Lord Shiva. Ishvara refers to a neutral, that Mayavachinnam Chaitanyam Ishvara. That Mayavachinna Chaitanya we are referring and not to Lord Shiva. So tatrapi Ishvaraha me tushyatu. God will be happy in me and then he will take me in this heaven or that heaven. So we should not have any such feeling like that. Tushyatu iti sangam tyaktva he dhananjaya. O dhananjaya, you do like that. Then phalatrushna shunyena kriyamane karmani sattva shuddhija Jnana prapti lakshana siddhihi tad viparyeyaja asiddhihi asiddhihi. Acha, your book says viparyeya. Even that it is okay. Okay, viparyeyaja asiddhihi tayoho siddhya siddhyoho api samaha tulyaha bhutva kuru karmani. Okay. Phalatrushna shunyena kriyamane karmani. So while you are doing a karma with phalatrushna shunyatvam, only 1 minute. When you are doing karma without phalatrushna shunyena, by one who is not having any, where this phalatrushna is 0. Shunyam is 0, you know. Phalatrushna is shunyaha means in whom phalatushna is 0. The desire for karma phala is 0. That means one who does not have any desire for karma phala. Phalatushna shunyena kriyamane karmani. Then what happens? When a man who is having 0 interest, let us say, when a person is having zero interest in karma phala, then what happens? Sattva shuddhija jnana prapti lakshana siddhihi. When a man is having zero interest in karma, but still he is doing karma very actively and very efficiently, he has to have zero interest, but at the same time he has to do it very efficiently, in a very upright manner he has to do. So then what happens? Sattva shuddhi. Sattva is antahkarana shuddhi. That is, basically his mind gets purified. Because number one, he has voluntarily kept aside the interest in karma phala. Gradually in that manner, that sattva shuddhi, it leads to sattva shuddhi. Sattva shuddhi ja means that which is born out of this sattva shuddhi. The sattva shuddhi is something, sattva shuddhi ja is different. Sattva shuddhi is purity of antahkarana. Sattva shuddhi ja is something which is born out of this sattva shuddhi, something which is born out of this purity of antahkarana. Sattva shuddhi ja, what is that? Jnana prapti lakshana siddhihi. That sattva shuddhi ja means jnana prapti. What is born out of that chitta shuddhi means jnana prapti. That chitta shuddhi leads to jnana prapti. That is paramparaya. That is why karma is called paramparaya sadhana, whereas jnana is sakshat sadhana. So here, phalatushna shunyena kriyamane karmani sattva shuddhija jnana prapti lakshana siddhihi. Siddhya siddhyos samo bhutva. That is the third line we are seeing. In siddhi and asiddhi, you become equal. Siddhi is jnana prapti lakshana. Jnana prapti born out of what? Born out of sattva shuddhi. Sattva shuddhi is born out of phalatushna shunyatvam. Phalatushna shunyatvam leads to chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi leads to jnana prapti. So this is the sequence. Siddhihi tad viparyaya ja asiddhihi. Tad viparyaya. Viparyaya is totally opposite to that. Totally opposite to that is phalatrushna. And what is born out of that phalatrushna? Asiddhi. Asiddhi means failure. Tayoho siddhya siddhyoho api samaha tulyaha bhutva. In those two things, in success and failure, samaha bhutva. Samaha means tulyaha, equal. You be disinterested in these things. Uninterested is different and disinterested is different. Uninterested means not having any interest in a particular thing. Disinterested means totally being neutral. So you be disinterested. Samaha tulyaha bhutva kuru karmani. You do your job in a very efficient manner without caring for these two things. So that is the meaning. We will see the next line in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.